What's good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down what's happening with the overall market moving forward, and also some economic data. But let me first say that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, deposit $100, you're guaranteed 7 free stocks. And the offer ends very soon in just about 2.5 weeks. Anyways, for the market, I just want to call out that right here, we have some very important data coming out. Today, there's the data is pretty much done with, but going into the future, we do have important things. We have a couple of Fed speakers for Monday. For Tuesday, we have PPI coming out and Jerome Powell giving a speech. Then for Wednesday, we also have CPI coming out. So we'll see what all this data leads to moving forward for the next upcoming week. Right now for SPY, we pushed all the way up to about 522.64, hitting the high all the way up there. We were holding up in the beginning. Then we got a big rejection after the Michigan consumer sentiment data came out, and SPY dipped all the way down to the 519s. Now SPY is just kind of shuffling in the 520 area. We're testing 521 as resistance, but we'll see how SPY ends up doing. As a reminder, the VIX is at 12.5 now. And this is very critical because every single time the VIX hit this low all the way down to 12.5, it did end up bouncing within a week. This happened every single time this year so far. And that happened because the market got a rejection. So we're approaching potential bounce territory for the VIX and rejection territory for the SPY as of right now, if history were to repeat itself. So we will see. Right now, SPY is not necessarily officially rejected, so we don't really have confirmation of that, but that will depend a lot on CPI, PPI, Jerome Powell's speech, and things like that. So watch resistance at 521.5, watch support at 520. If we lose that, we're going to be dipping all the way down to 518. So give this some time and we'll see if this gets a rejection or not. And with this high that was established, we're coming down, we could be establishing a lower high and continue. So give it some time and we'll see how things end up going. So for SPY, I'll be watching close. Do we close above 520 or 521? To me, it doesn't really matter. What's going to matter more is what happens for next week to determine how we move. For the QQQ, we're fighting 442 as resistance. If it breaks, let's look for 444. This is the level we called on. That's where the QQQ went to earlier. Support's at 441, a little bit lower than that. So that's where we kind of range traded for the rest of the day. If we get a rejection here, if we fail to hold the 440 or the mid 440s, we're known for rejecting down the QQQ many times. If that happens, we could be making a move back down to like 437 or so. So there is a risk of the QQQ getting a slight rejection, but we're not really ready yet. So we're just testing resistance, and we have to give this some time. For Tesla, unfortunately, it's looking a little bit weak. We've been shuffling at 168, the support zone I had mapped over here. And we have resistance at 170. Tesla's been stuck here for about 4 hours, going back and forth and back and forth. I could see an attempt to go a little higher first before it drops as of right now, but that's going to depend on close and lots of pieces of news. But that's what I'm seeing so far for Tesla. For Nvidia, we're kind of stuck going back and forth and back and forth. There's this gap to fill down here. So is Nvidia going to push up first before we come down to fill the gap later? The trend on Nvidia is also kind of more bearish because we had this high here. We came down, we're establishing a lower high, kind of rejecting. So it's just trending sideways, but there is a risk of it coming down to fill that gap later next week. So just be mindful of that. And then for Aapl did come down a bit. We're shuffling at 182, which is what we called out earlier. We got this rejection. It's just trading sideways for 4 hours. Might try to push a little higher towards 183.5 next week, then continue to shuffle and trade sideways for the time being. For Amzn, okay, Amzn has this range. 190 is resistance, 187 is support. It's been completely stuck as well, trading flats. There's not really a whole lot going on with it. For Coinbase, we're showing a little bit of weakness. We did end up losing our support. We rejected off this 215 area. So I said if we broke this, look for a push. If we rejected here, we're going to be dipping. And we got the rejection. We're coming all the way down to 202. For Meta, it's no different. Meta has support currently at this 472 area. We have resistance at 478. And I do think there's a risk of this dipping if we lose the 200 EMA. So watch that 472 support. We'll see if this loses this or not next week. So that's going to be key, at least for the stock. With that being said, guys, the market, so SPY is trying to hold up above 520, but just remember that SPY is known for rejecting between 520 and 525. It happened many times. So I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I am saying that right now we're at some tough resistance. You guys can see how SPY is performing today. Got a little rejection at first. It's trying to get bought back up, but still shuffling in the 520s. So we will see if we get a big move to the downside or not. We're going to be very, very patient and open-minded with this. And with that being said, I just hope you guys really found value in this video. So we're at resistance. We'll see how this goes going into next week. SPY has not officially broken past the high of the day, and it is showing a little bit of weakness here because the resistance is very, very tough. That's how we're essentially going to end this week, in my personal opinion. We'll see how things go for next week. So I'll give you guys another update later on. Thank you for listening, and peace out.